Hi, I'm Heather Smith and welcome to Cloud Stories, a podcast exploring the accounting and business apps community. Stay up to date with the curated content I'm sharing by signing up to the Accounting Apps newsletter, available at heathersmithau.com. Today, I'm bringing you 8 interviews from the floor of the Sydney Accounting and Business Expo, held in November 2023. I had a brilliant time at the Expo. I delivered 4 sessions on apps, AI, ChatGPT and habits, and honestly was shocked at how packed they all were. Expos give me a really efficient way to catch up with my Sydney friends, and as it was not purely an accounting conference but also a business conference, there are actually some colleagues there from different industries who I got to catch up with. I hadn't seen some of them in a decade, so that was really wonderful. So as well as speaking to lots of people, I did attend a few sessions, and I'm not even sure how I managed it, but I've managed to record 8 interviews from the floor, and I've listened back to them before as I was editing them for this podcast, and there's some really quite interesting and different information here, so I hope you enjoy listening.
Hello, welcome to Cloud Stories podcast. Can you please let our listeners know who you are and where you're from?
My name is Bingham. I'm from Kodak Alaris. We've got a head office in Rochester, New York, and we've got one in London. And we do document scanners and we do document processing software. So we're all about capturing documents, extracting the information and pushing the data somewhere.
So you do hardware and software?
Both.
Fantastic. Okay. Now, Kodak Alaris, are you related to the Kodak photography?
An excellent question. So we were a part of the original Eastman Kodak company. When they went bankrupt, they sold off some assets, and we were one of those. Oh. So we're actually owned by the pension fund of Eastman Kodak employees in the UK. So the profits that we drive go towards paying the pensions of people in the UK who used to work for the old Kodak company.
Oh, goodness, that took us on a journey, didn't it?
I know. It's a feel-good factor, though, for us, because we're not just working for some individual.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that took us on quite a journey. So what sort of businesses use your solutions?
Honestly, everyone. So our really big verticals are health, so information management, patient records, huge and local council, government departments, banking, law firms, anywhere that has lots of paper. That's where we are. And
so what sort of information are you extracting from the paper, from the documentation?
It varies depending on the customer. Sometimes it can be as simple as I just need to read this barcode to name the document accordingly, like in transport as an example. But we do have more complex scenarios where we're doing accounts payable automation, or I've got some type of application form that I need to get handwriting or a signature from, etc. So really from simple to complex, we'll jump on board.
And so does it mean, like, say I have a lease contract for a retail centre and I've got a lease contract.
Yep.
Do I speak to one of your consultants and say, can you set this up to extract these 6 pieces of information
Absolutely.
And push it into here?
That's exactly what we specialise in.
Okay.
And sometimes that can be as simple as I just want to name the PDF with that data. Sometimes it's I need to push that data into this database or this accounts management system, etc.
Okay. Oh, that's really interesting. So I don't need you to give me the specifics, but can you tell me sort of what sort of pricing point I'm looking at?
So if we look at the hardware, we go from as little as $500 for a scanner up to over $100,000. So if we look at the census, the most recent census, that was using some Kodak scanners, our really top-end models. So pretty cool, right?
Wow.
Yeah. And then in terms of the software, it can go from as little as about $500 to $1,000, and then all the way up, depending on the customer. It can get.
And are we talking monthly or annually?
Generally speaking, there's an initial purchase, and then you can pay a yearly subscription fee for the support. We'll provide you training, etc.
Okay, that's really interesting, and to be able to go to the level of the Australian census level really gives some people ideas on we can extract signatures all the way through there, and so I hear of people who are like have documentation requirements and they sit down and they get robotic process automation in place to do it themselves, and they write all this coding, but it sounds like they could come to you and actually streamline that and get that happening a lot quicker. So if we've got any data, repetitive data happening, this is a good solution.
Absolutely. And all historic stuff. So not long ago I was at an accounting firm, coincidentally, and they had documents dating back to the 70s.
Ooh.
And so they had all of these documents sitting in cardboard boxes in this big room dedicated just to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they couldn't move. Realistically, they couldn't move to a different office because it was just too difficult to move all those boxes. It's a risk. What if they get damaged, etc.? And so for them, getting a Kodak scanner and software and being able to digitize all those documents, destroy the originals, literally gave them freedom.
Yeah.
So for us, it's really cool.
Yeah, and it's intelligently digitizing them, because I
Absolutely.
imagine we've now got it in a place that we can now search it.
Absolutely. So great segue. Thank you. So what we're doing now a lot of is handwriting extraction. So traditionally with OCR, you're looking at printed text, really reliable. Handwriting, not so great.
Yeah.
Now with AI, we can get much more reliable handwriting extraction. To get really, really good results for both printed and handwritten text. And then if you put that in an ERP system or a CRM or even just SharePoint, you can search for that content now that we've got a text layer inside that document. And so we specialise in that as well.
Excellent. So I imagine when you had the accountant's office, that project was just a one-off project, and then possibly going forward they didn't need it.
Potentially, but then they still have paper come in. It's definitely, with accounting, it's definitely becoming more digitised.
Yeah.
Over time, the ATO, you can clearly see they're trying to digitise more and more. Right?
Yes.
Right? They're all into that, and it's really cool, but they still do have notices come in via some type of, generally speaking, it'll be posted into them.
Yeah.
So there is still a need, but you're right, especially with the old school accountants, they've got lots of old stuff.
Yes.
If you're starting an accounting firm from scratch right now, you might not get yourself into that same situation.
Yeah, but if you're going into buying an accounting firm, that might be something that you ask them to do.
If it was me as a millennial and I'm buying an accounting firm, the first thing I want to do is get rid of the paper records room, because it would just scare me.
Fantastic. Is there anything else our listeners should know?
Look, if you need anything, get in touch with us. We've got a website. You can fill out a form and we'll get in touch with you and help you with your digitisation.
So can you repeat for our listeners the contact details again to get in contact with you?
Okay, no worries. So if you go to alarisworld.com, that's our website, and just hit us up. Or if you just search for Kodak Alaris in Google, will be the first result.
Yes, and it's Alaris, Alaris, for people who are listening. Thank you so much, Bingham, for speaking with me. Can I ask you to share who you are and what company you work for?
Sure. My name is Malcolm Cameron. I work for a company called MyTreasur-e. We do cloud-based SaaS software for treasury management, cash management, and most recently, lease accounting. IFRS 16 came into play in 2019. It's been a bit of a whirlwind for a lot of people out there. Some people trying to stick to Excel. The finding is spreadsheets getting harder and harder to maintain over time. And it really is, in 2019, introduced a birth overnight of a new industry called lease accounting software. So we are at the Expo today to demonstrate and show people our lease accounting software and how it can save accountants time on how they can improve their monthly accounting entries, how to calculate them, how to get everything so they don't have to spend time in a spreadsheet for hours and hours trying to do their clients' lease accounting.
Absolutely. So it's suited to accountants working in practice, and you probably wouldn't do it in your own business, but it's for accountants working in practice.
Oh, no, it's for both. So if you're in your own business, definitely. So we have some of our largest clients are large corporates around Australia who use our software because they might have hundreds and hundreds of leases. Trying to do that manually takes a long time. And just trying to keep track of everything as well. So there's two types of clients. Clients who are overwhelmed by the number of leases they have, and others that have leases that change regularly. That could be due to changes due to CPI, or if they have extensions, leases might be impaired. Each time that happens, a lease needs to be recalculated and then remeasured. And so we have software that does all that for you automatically.
Wow, that's fantastic. What do you integrate with?
We integrate with all types of third-party software, be it other accounting solutions such as ERPs, Xero, MyTreasur-e, with data sources, so market data providers if you have maybe FX. We also integrate with payment solutions, so if you want to have payment data coming out of our software. So really, we haven't had a single piece of software we haven't been able to integrate with. Because we do have some inbuilt, what we call MT mapper functions that allow us to change data in any way before it goes out, or change data when it's received so that we can read it ourselves. It's not the most interesting of topics, I'll tell you that. Lease accounting is one of those things where either you really need it and you know it, or you're not interested at all.
Yeah,
so it's quite niche. And I've actually worked my entire career in niche accounting. I used to be a specialist in IFRS 9, which is about valuations of derivatives and other financial instruments. And again, it's one of those things that you don't always learn much about it when you do like a CPA or CA course. You'll touch on it, but not the details. And so really it's brought up a lot of work for a lot of the consulting firms and audit firms because people don't know it well. But there's also, there are solutions out there that will help. They have those specialists in place, like MyTreasur-e, who can make life a lot easier for companies who do need it. So really it's for companies where if they have a specialist need for either leasing or treasury instruments or maybe a cash management problem, that's where we come into play. But for the average Joe, when I talk to my family about what I do, they get a blank stare every time. I could be, I could be a professional dancer, and they wouldn't have no idea. Yeah. I started my career actually at Commonwealth Bank, working in their treasury, and they used to make jokes that they thought my job was to sit around making houses out of gold bullion. That's all we did at the treasury. Or we had a spinning dartboard to decide if rates were going up or down. It's quite, in our jobs, it'd be quite hard to describe to the average person what we do, but it's a lot of fun. With those when we connect with those in the industry, and you can talk about it, joke about it, and so we do like to try and catch up as much as we can with people.
Fantastic. So how can people learn more about this topic? Are you providing webinars or education on it?
Yes and no. We do a bit more targeted approach. We don't do webinars and so much. We do host a lot of sessions with clients, but it's more of a one-on-one generally for education. But generally people will know. And a lot of clients do like to talk to their consultants. So the Big Four consulting firm have a lot of specialists in these areas. And we work quite closely with them to find out, if there's clients who need help. What is quite interesting, there's a lot of clients who may already have a solution in play, but they may not be aware that there's actually a second generation of software out there now. So in 2019, there was a handful of solution providers who had software ready, so to speak, but it turns out it was not very good software at all, unfortunately. And so people have been putting up with bad software for a couple of years, and we came into the market specifically as a second generation provider to improve and learn from their mistakes and make something a lot better with a lot more automation and a lot easier to use. So we focus primarily on the end user to try and make them happy.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for speaking with me, Malcolm. I imagine some people listening into this will really resonate with the solution that you've got offering and will definitely be in contact with you. So what's the best way for them to contact you or the solution?
Fantastic. So they can reach us at mytreasure.com. MyTreasure is MyTreasur-e.com. They can always look me up on LinkedIn as well under Malcolm Cameron. And that's probably the best way to do it, yeah.
Thank you so much, Malcolm. That was a complicated web address, but hopefully people remember, and I'll drop it in the show links as well.
You're welcome.
Thank you
very much.
Can you share with our listeners who you are and where you're from?
Yeah, cool. Thanks for inviting me. Christopher Dodson, and I'm from Xero Blue. Yeah, and what we do is equipment finance schedules in the cloud that integrate with Xero.
Awesome. So can you tell us a bit more about equipment finance schedules and who's going to use them, what they do?
Yeah, so our target market is largely accounting and bookkeeping firms. So accountants are going to want to get on there, generate the schedules, and then they can download them for their work papers, things like that. And our point of difference is really that Xero integration piece. They can sync it through as a spend money transaction, have it come through with the bank feed, and have that reconciliation automatically happen rather than doing it all the time.
What made you come up with this idea?
Yeah, I just feel like with this sort of finance, if you've got weekly payments, fortnightly payments, monthly payments, there's a lot of manual reconciliation involved. It's something that can be automated, but with the payments being different every time, it does require, I guess, AI intervention. So I don't think it's something that you can sort of set and forget from the start, as long as everything goes well and all the payments come out. But it's not something that is automated at the moment. So we thought that automating it was a bit of a no-brainer. And since automating it, we've had a lot of feedback from people that have said, they're going to use it for things like cash flow forecasting and I guess management reporting, etc., that we sort of didn't even fathom. We were looking at it as a time-saving thing for, I guess, compliance point of view. And then also when we originally thought of it, we thought of accountants first up, but we've had a lot of bookkeepers and BAS agents say, no, I really want to be doing this rather than leaving it up to the accountant at year end.
Yeah, absolutely. So what was your sort of backstory to coming into this space? Were you working in an accounting practice?
Yeah, so I started off working at an accounting firm called Findex. Well, they changed their name a lot, but they're currently Findex. So I worked there for a couple of years and then started my own practice. And at the same time, I thought, I wanted to get into the tech space.
The exciting tech space.
Yeah. Look, I made a comment when I was working there before Xero launched in Australia about how there was a bit of a gap in the market for, I guess, a cloud-based accounting software, and then Xero launched, and I was like, this is what I'm been missing out on. And so the tech spaces really interest me. Even when I worked at Findex, I was involved in their electronic workpaper team and cloud onboarding, and I was in charge of programming their spreadsheets for Australia. So just the technology side has always come hand in hand with I guess the accounting, and we had a customer there particularly that had about 300 finance schedules for the one customer, and I remember it being a 2 or 3 day job to reconcile that. And I thought there's got to be an easier way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we're at the Accounting and Business Expo in Sydney, and I think later today you're doing a pitch talk?
I am doing a pitch, yes. I've just reorganised my pitch and spoke to the tech guys. That's all ready to go. A bit nervous but a bit excited at the same time, so yeah.
Have you done pitches before?
I've never done a pitch before, no. Awesome. So I think the last time I had to do any sort of public speaking was in Year 12 when I did a public speaking competition, so we'll see how it goes.
Fantastic. You got all your numbers ready?
So, I've got my pitch ready.
You got your pitch ready?
Yeah, so I think I've got my numbers ready. Is there specific numbers that I need?
They just always seem to ask you questions about your numbers, don't they?
Yeah, I think so. I think because we're early days, a lot of our numbers are like, look, this is what we're hoping to achieve and things like that, rather than, look, we've achieved this many sales, etc., etc.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I've got a bit of information there about our target market and how we're going so far.
Fantastic. Well, it's always a great learning experience, and coming to a conference and being a sort of startup zone is a great opportunity to meet with people and learn from what they think about your product as well.
Yeah, no, look, and that's what we're here for, to get exposure, to get some feedback and get our product out there and hopefully help some accountants reconcile their schedules and improve our product.
Fantastic. So how can people get in contact with you, Chris, and how can they find out more about Hero Blue?
So you can head to our website, heroblue.com.au. We've got an opportunity on there to book a demo with us for free. We've got a phone number on there. We've got a chat on the website. We've got email on there, contact form, all the traditional. You can connect with me on LinkedIn or Facebook. So
fantastic.
All the traditional mediums.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chris, for speaking with us on the Cloud Stories podcast. Really appreciate it.
No worries. Thanks for interviewing me.
Can you share with our listeners who you are and what company are you working for?
Hi, thank you for having us. I'm Kathy Middleton and I work for One Music Australia.
Can you share with us what One Music Australia does?
One Music is a music licensing organisation. So we license businesses for the use of music when it's used in a non-domestic environment. So for example, if a cafe was playing Spotify or there was music used in dance or fitness classes, a hotel might have a live band or play karaoke. They're all the kinds of examples that One Music licenses for, and it's in regards to the Australian Copyright Act.
So if someone is playing it in their office, but people aren't coming into their office, do they need to have a license?
Generally speaking, yes, they do. One Music has what's called a Music in the Workplace license, and it covers the examples where perhaps staff members might play music, if you have music at reception, if you have music in any presentations that might be created, or if perhaps there's work organised functions, whether they be held at the office or off-site. This license covers the use of music as well.
So can you explain a bit more about the license, how they find out about the license, how long it covers them for,
Yeah, of course. We have a variety of different licenses depending on the industry. The one that I referred to, the Music in the Workplace, is calculated on the number of full-time employees, and it starts at a rate at about $2.21 per employee. There is a minimum fee for the year of $250, and once that's in place, it just renews each year until it's no longer required or until perhaps music is no longer used.
Absolutely. So you've have up here on your colourful banners here that Spotify is for personal use. So even if I'm paying Spotify Premium,
yes,
that's not covering me for my license.
That is correct. So with most streaming services, including Spotify, you might find that in the terms and conditions it does specify that it's for personal use only. Now, the One Music license doesn't overrule those terms and conditions, but because it is generally speaking our members' work that's being played, that's why we license it regardless of the source. Similar if someone's playing a CD or internet radio or has the telly on, they're all examples of music use that we license.
So if someone's not got a license, apart from all the bad karma that's coming down on them for not properly paying our creative artists, what else will happen with them?
We like to go with the situation of we educate first and wave the big stick second. But unfortunately, if people are using music across all industries without the appropriate licenses in place, it's putting them at risk for copyright infringement claims. On behalf of our members, we are able to take court proceedings against those people, or those businesses, I should say. And I think to date we've been successful every time we've done that. So it's really important that if music is being used in a business, that the owners of that business are investigating what licensing requirements need to be thought of and considered.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, we really need to support our creative artists in Australia. We have such a fabulous base of creative artists in Australia, and they give us so much, and they carry us through so many of the good times and the bad times as well.
Do.
And as businesses, we need to give it back to them and support them because they're helping our flow, they're helping our productivity.
That's it.
We really should be supporting them. So it might be something as accountants and bookkeepers, you actually pop into a newsletter, put some links out there and let your client base know about that.
That would be amazing. Thank you.
So how does someone go out about finding out more about your
Yes,
your
they
licenses?
can head to the One Music website, onemusic.com.au. It's got all of the information about the licenses that are on offer. It's got all the legal advice about why the license is required. And it's also got some fun facts on how best to use music in your business to perhaps, entertain your customers or make it a bit more exciting for your staff.
Absolutely. And like as we said, it's productivity. It's really, I know for myself, I use music to actually get me in the mode for high energy things or to chill down or classical music, etc.
Yep.
So awesome. Thank you so much for speaking with me.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Cheers.
Thank you.
This episode of the Cloud Stories podcast is sponsored by Translucent. From the founder of Receipt Bank, Translucent turns your existing single entity accounting system into a multi-entity accounting solution without needing to migrate to Intact, NetSuite or other larger systems. Simply connect your existing accounting software and Translucent will consolidate all your data to create a single financial system of record. Translucent apps provide workflows for your multi-entity needs, such as searching for transactions at group level, creating consolidated reporting, managing intercompany transactions, live connecting your data to spreadsheets, and more apps being released every quarter. Visit translucent.io to get started. All you need to do is connect to your existing accounting software, and once your data is synced, you're ready to go. Translucent Explore is completely free, so you can try the product without commitment.
Can you share with our listeners who you are and where you work?
Yeah, so Stan Corner. I'm the CEO and founder of Business Automation Works. In this industry, we are known as the team behind the ATO document automation program called ATO Mate.
Excellent, thank you for that. Can you share with us what ATO Mate does?
Yeah, so I think if we talk about the mechanics, Heather, we capture documents out of the ATO. So our secret weapon is our direct integration with the ATO. So we capture those documents, we bring them into the accounting practice, we do all the validation checks against the practice management like Xero, MyOb, etc. We then create centric or client-centric communication because we know how important it is to maintain that relationship, right? So we create those communications, then we put them into a dashboard ready for the practice to approve, send off to the client, and last but not least, then we integrate with all of the document management systems. So the mechanics, if we talk about what we provide, it's time-saving, opportunity to do stuff that just doesn't get done.
So if the ATO is down, which it seems to frequently be, and if the ATO portal is down and people can't access it, are you still able to access it, and are people not having those issues?
The answer, of course, is yes and no. Should have been in politics, right? So the answer is if the portal is down, or what you see as the tax agent portal is down, that may or may not mean that our access is down. However, our access to capture these documents is in the wee small hours every night. So we're not actually logging into the accountant's tax agent portal. This is a direct API to API integration. So hypothetically, which is your question, what happens if they're out for a few hours? The smarts in our tool will go back in and capture those documents. So it's really that deep. I mentioned my secret weapon. It's that deep detail, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I see a lot of accountants, a lot of tax agents complaining that they're wasting time accessing the portal and stuff like that. So do you, is what you're telling me about your solution, do you believe it's saving them time in accessing the portal?
Yeah, 100%. It's not just accessing the portal though, it's the whole situation. So if I use the example of a 10-seat firm, so I use a 10-seat because everyone can multiply up and down. A 10-seat firm or 10-staff member firm will spend about an average of 1 hour per team member per week accessing the portal, processing documents, client communication. So our evidence, clear evidence, is a 10-seat firm, we can save them close to 500 hours a year. It's compelling, right? 500 hours, multiply it out by their charge rate. If you're a Mad King golfer like I am, multiply it out to the number of times you can play golf and how you can knock your handicap down.
Yeah,
yep.
Absolutely. Well, it then definitely sounds like a solution that people should investigate. Who is your ideal client, and sort of what is the smallest level client that it suits?
Yeah, cool. It's a great question. We scale up and we scale down. So let's talk about the smallest client. And this is a really, I think it's an interesting story because it talks to the heart of how we help. Very early days, I was introduced to a small accounting firm. As it turns out, single mum worked from home in Wollongong. And I was pitching our product, and all the way through, Heather, I'm going, we can't add enough value here. It's not possible. So I got to the end of the presentation. I said to Nikki, hey, this is what the cost is, Nikki. And then I followed, but I don't know that there's enough value here for you. And she said, mate, you don't get it. And I went, what do you mean? She said, well, I'm a single mum. When do I do this processing and communicate with the clients? On Sunday morning. You're a couple $100 a month, mate? No brainer. So right from the smallest practice, our largest firm has more than 2,000 seats. So we scale really from the bottom, the smallest practice right through to large enterprise.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do think mums are super efficient in juggling their time, and we've only got limited time, so we're always like, what piece of technology is going to save us time? Because we're doing it into the wee hours, we're doing it on the weekends, etc., when our children are younger, etc.
Yeah, and I that just goes for the sole practitioner, doesn't it, really? And you know
yes.
them as well as I do. They squeeze a lot in a short amount of time, and it's challenging.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and I always think that if you can find something that's going to save you time, give it a go for a few months, and if it doesn't, we'll pull out. But if it is, then look for the next solution that's going to help you.
Yeah, 100%. I agree on that. You don't need to do everything at once, but from our perspective, if you're listening to this, you want to give us a crack, have a try. If we deliver value, awesome. If we don't, that's okay too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. How long does it take to set up and implement?
Lightweight implementation. This is the promise I make and my team makes every time. We do all the heavy lifting, and if this is not the simplest software implementation a practice has undertaken, my shout for lunch and you choose where we go. And by the way, you can invite Heather along as well.
Very good, very good. I have many free lunches lined up in my future.
I will add though, Heather, I'm not a gambling man, so I wouldn't book lunch just yet.
Okay, yeah. Very good, very good. Anything else our listeners should know about your solution?
Look, I think really simply, this is one of those challenges, and it's become more challenging because of the way the ATO keeps changing stuff. So there's a very, very consistent message we receive, and that is that from practices, our clients are confused, they're not receiving some documents. And I think the biggest impact today is debt. We all know the ATO's changed their posture on debt, but it's really hard if your client hasn't received their PAYG, for instance, to pay it. And it's a very uncomfortable conversation. Now, that is one of it's probably not the top 3 reasons, it's the top reason practices are coming to us today.
Yeah.
So reach out, have a chat. We're pretty friendly. Or I like to think I'm friendly, but, you'll be the judge.
How can our listeners get in contact with you?
Yep, so www.atomate.com.au.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us on the Cloud Stories podcast, Dan.
Thanks for dropping by, Heather.
Can you share with our listeners who you are and who you're working for?
I'd love to, Heather, and thanks for having me. My name's Joel Hanna, and I'm a Customer Success Manager here at Sustain Life. And Sustain Life is an ESG tool for capturing and reporting ESG data across businesses of all sizes.
So I know that sustainability has been a passion of yours for a very long time.
Yeah, it has.
Why is that, and what have you been doing about that?
I think one of the biggest challenges we face globally is this kind of impending threat of climate change, right? And impending threat, very real and present threat, actually. It's described as the biggest humanitarian crisis that we'll face over the next decade. So, it's really important for me to try and do whatever I can to help reduce the most significant impacts of that. And so I've been trying to move my professional life more and more to be in line with where my values are at in that same sort of space. So,
and how can technology help us?
There's a lot of data to get your arms around, and in order to be able to measure our progress in pushing back, against these challenges, we really need to start at the very beginning of capturing really good quality data, and then doing really high quality calculations around what the impacts are and what the opportunities are, and then thinking about future risks and opportunities as well. So there's quite a lot to kind of get your arms around there, and so technology is super helpful in not only organising that but automating a lot of that process as well.
What size businesses would benefit from using this solution?
Businesses of any size, of course. There's some new legislation that will land in Australia in the 24-25 financial year that will see large businesses, for the first time, have to publicly disclose and report their all 3 scopes of their emissions profile. And we all know that good news trickles downhill, so we really are already seeing businesses of all sizes really preparing for what will happen at the top end of town. The interesting thing with that piece of legislation is that it continues to roll down the 25-26 financial year and 26-27, 27-28 down to smaller businesses as well. So we're seeing the Australian government take this stuff really seriously, and so we're seeing businesses of all sizes prepare and respond to that in advance too, which is exciting.
So it does appear in sort of the general scope of things that greenwashing, which is very prevalent, which is people pretending to be green, people pretending to be sustainable.
Yeah.
This sort of software, is it able to be audited and verified that what they're saying is actually happening?
So glad you asked that. It's such an important question. And the short answer is yes, absolutely. So this is, again, where technology is really important in getting that kind of quality assessment and quality calculation into everyone's public claims. So if you're saying that you're carbon neutral, or that you have a reductions plan over the next 10 years, out to 2030 or even out to 2050. Being able to do that with confidence and supported by data is really, really critical. So our solution's fully auditable. We actually have an audit function that allows an auditor to sample and pull the right levels of data that they need in order to do their work, to provide reasonable and limited assurance across any sort of carbon or climate claim.
Okay. So there's a number of solutions that have surfaced in the eco space around sustainability.
Yep.
How does yours differ from them? I'm presuming you have a good knowledge of these various solutions.
Yeah.
Are they the same? Is yours different?
Every solution seems to be slightly different and really useful for a different slice of customer, either at, depending on their size or their sector. We're seeing a lot more verticalization in the ecosystem as well. So, solutions that are really focused on, say, retail or trades or, businesses of different kinds. So that's really exciting. But, it's such a huge problem, but it's also such a huge opportunity.
Yeah.
So I think there's enough room for hopefully a number of winners. We feel great about where we're at and what we're able to offer, and our clients seem to be really happy with what we've got on the table as well.
So how long would it take to implement Sustain Life?
I was talking to a colleague of mine who went through a full Scopes 1, 2 and 3 assessment with an organisation in 48 hours, which is unreal. This is usually a really lengthy process that you'd spend months, even sometimes up to a full year with a consulting practice to develop a full profile. Now, there's always going to be complexity, and the more complex your business, and this is true of any style of accounting, particularly carbon accounting, the more complex your business, the more complex your needs, the more time that will take. But tools we have a great level of integration into all the right data inputs and data sources, so that collecting data is really easy. We have an amazing customer success team, if I do say so myself. But we're really here to handhold and work closely with our clients. And we also have a growing network of partners as well that are in that same space supporting. So
how should people go about partnering with Sustain Life?
You can hit me up. You can find me on LinkedIn, Joel Hanna. You can go to our website, sustain.life. You can shoot me an email, joel@sustain.life. We're here to help.
Yeah. And so what does the partnership look like? What does that route look like?
We've got a couple of different options. We have a referral partnership model. We have a reseller partnership model. We allow practices to fully white label our solution, so it appears pretty transparently to the client. And we're fairly new in market. We've been around for about a year in Australia, so we're up for anything that sort of works, and anything that anyone wants to try, we're up for it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think you've given everyone details on how to get in contact with you, but can you just reiterate, how should people get in contact with you, Joel?
Yeah, so just drop me an email, joel@sustain.life, and I'd love to have a chat.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for speaking to our listeners on the Cloud Storage Podcast.
Nice to see you.
Yes. Can you share with our listeners who you are and where you're from?
My name's Anita Dankonisau. I live in Gambia Bay. I work for Aritex. We specialise in offshoring solutions with and data management for bookkeeping, and also customer and client support on their products.
Fantastic. So can you share with us a little bit more about what the business does?
So we do bookkeeping. We look after a lot of pharmacies, medical centres, construction, professional services, real estate. So we do look after a big range of industries. We also do data management, inventory control, and other, add-on solutions for different businesses based on their requirements.
Absolutely. And you're here at the Accounting and Business Expo. You've been here, I think, a couple of days now. What have you seen here that has caught your eye?
I'm not actually sure how to say their name. Clevero?
Clevero.
I actually really like their product. There's a lot in there. They've got e-signature, inventory, service products. They've got pretty much every question I ask, there's a solution in there for it, as well as the equivalent of Calendly, email,
goodness.
everything. So they call my eye, as well as actually that was the main one.
I will definitely go over and check them out. And so you're speaking on a panel today?
speaking on a panel, AI in practice at 11.
So what do our accountants and bookkeepers need to know? What's one thing that they need to be aware of about AI in the next year?
I want to be blunt, adapt or die, but at the same time, be cautious with your data. So anything you're submitting, submit it anonymous. But it's AI is definitely boosting you. So I think of all the AI assistants as my intern. So it's only as good as the questions and the directions you give. So prompt well.
Prompt well. Yeah, look, and I think that is really what a lot of it comes down to, is be curious, experiment, prompt, and if the first response isn't what you want, go back in and ask it again and ask it again.
Yeah. I try and use the what, when, where, why, how, what am I doing, what am I trying to achieve, who is it for, who am I, so I've started generating my own prompts, so I just copy and paste just to remind it who I am every time. And that way I get better results.
Fantastic. Oh, well, good luck with your session today. Thank you so much for joining us on the Cloud Stories podcast. If people want to get in contact with you, how should they do that?
They can find me on LinkedIn if they can spell my surname. It's Anita, D-A space ENCARNACAO, or easier, go to the Aratex website.
And Anita had to look at her own name to spell it. Well done. Okay. That's why I stayed a Smith when I got married.
Maybe I'll change.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Can you share with our listeners who you are and what business you work for?
Hi, I'm Les. I'm the CEO of Xero. Xero is a low-code business management platform. We handle everything for business operations end-to-end. That goes from CRM, project management, job profitability, time tracking, as well as invoicing, and we seamlessly integrate into Xero end-to-end.
Who is your ideal client?
Our ideal clients probably anywhere from 5 staff all the way up to probably 200. Businesses that have multiple disjointed systems, tired of having to manually data entry, double entry into multiple platforms, have lots of integrations, and really looking for a consolidated system, one version of the truth in one single system.
Excellent. And can you share with us a bit more about the different aspects of your solution?
So we can, as I said before, we've got CRM, project management, job profitability, time tracking. You've got e-signatures in there, you've got credit card processing, pretty much anything that you need to run your business, emails, SMSs, as well as automated reminders and things like that and workflows.
Okay, so it's almost kind of pushing into a big ERP space, isn't it?
It is. It's sort of like, that's my background. I've come from an ERP space back in a past life, and found that a lot of small to medium enterprises really were priced out. So we went about building a platform that can be for small to medium enterprises, but you get all the great features and benefits of that.
So if you had a multi-entity organisation that maybe had a number of franchises, etc., how would it work with those?
So that's a great question. We could have multiple instances of our platform, and you'd also have a potential consolidated franchise that could have all the data plug into it as a parent level, and you'd be able to see all that data in one go. Yeah.
So for accountants and bookkeepers in practice, what would their relationship be with Xero? Would they go into it? Would they be assisting their clients with it? Or is it more sort of business focused?
Great question. I think it's both. I think for their own practice and their own business, they could use it to run their daily operations, monitor all their clients. But then as well for their own clients, if they're looking for better visibility, better ways to see whether their jobs or customers are being profitable, that's also a benefit that they could offer a solution here. We have a range of different partnership opportunities as well. So I think it's the best of both worlds.
It's very interesting. It's covering a lot of different areas.
Absolutely. And that's what we pride ourselves on, is we dislike the idea that you need to go and get multiple subscriptions. We like the fact that, hey, come to one place, you can run your business in one platform, end to end.
So whereabouts is the data stored?
Data's in Australia. Mm-hmm. We host on AWS. Mm-hmm. And it's all safe, secure, redundancy is all backed up, and Yes.
And what sort of pricing point are we talking about?
The platform starts off at $500, depending
Is that
on size.
annually or?
So that's per month.
Per month?
And then it will scale up there depending on features, depending on the number of users that you have, and things like that. Yeah.
Fantastic. So how can our listeners get in contact with you and with Clevero?
Our website, www.clevero.co. We've got Instagram, Facebook, all those wonderful socials, and reach out to myself, Les Yo. I'm on LinkedIn as well, so yeah.
Fantastic. Oh, I should ask you, how did you come up with the name Clevero?
It was pretty much the idea that one of our customers came up with. We were previously known as a different name, and they just said, you guys, you're a very clever system, and we started to play around with little variations of that, and we came up with Clevero.
Clevero. So the clever and the whole circle.
You got it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Heather.
Cheers.
So I hope you found the interviews from the Sydney Accounting and Business Expo held in November 23 to be engaging. I believe they are holding another conference in Melbourne in March 2024. But I won't be able to attend that one, but maybe you can. So what was interesting was I had to I edit my own audio, and I've always wondered how to do something. And one of the really useful ways to use ChatGPT is you can go in and prompt it and tell it it's an expert. So I told it was an expert in this particular type of software, and I asked it how to do this particular thing, which was moving everything in one go, and actually gave me the answer really quickly. So I was able to do that, and I'm sure I've searched for it and never been able to work it out. So it knows and it reads all of the support notes for everything. So I find it quicker to go and ask ChatGPT how to do something rather than actually going to the actual solution and asking it how to do something. So hopefully another little tip there for you. So for in-depth discussions about the ecosystem, I encourage you to join the Xero Mastermind group on Facebook. I recommend subscribing to the Accounting Apps newsletter for insights into ecosystem space. You can find that at heathersmithau.com. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. And also, you're listening to the Cloud Stories podcast, so please subscribe so you get the next episode. I'm Heather Smith, and this has been the Cloud Stories podcast.